Thanks for the whole idea. I'm still excited, and there's many more episodes to go. So we were wondering, like, we probably will be talking in 10 years. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, the remake started on like AMC or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's technically a Disney show now, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I've been kind of staying away from any news about the remake completely intentionally. I want to.
Is this happening?
I apparently I don't know.
You mean a new Buffy?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Holy
cow! I would elevate it in terms of get the cast back. I'm sure they're available. Yeah. And like mature the show with the age.
I agree.
You could rock that. That show could rock.
It could.
Brilliant.
What do you guys know about the?
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. How did you hear?
There's news all over it.
Oh wow, I'm out of the loop.
But I from what I gather, it's a complete relaunch, not a continuation. Because they don't want to do shows.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I like your idea.
X-Files is the one that I know of in the sci-fi horror genre that they kept going years after.
Right. Yeah.
Like years after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen the last season of the X-Files, and I'm just kind of waiting for, like we talked about last time about Deadwood and that. So
yeah.
Because I just don't want it to end.
It's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Alex, did you get a chance to watch the next two or so?
I'm watching the two as close to this as possible. I think that's kind of best for me. And I just make a few notes here, and obviously these are my notes.
Oh wow, good for you.
Page per episode, because it helps a lot, and it helps me remember the episodes much later on as well.
Yeah, it does help.
So I should have done that at school. I should have made more notes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So what I'll do is we'll work out some sort of not so schlocky way to introduce the show as well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have the theme. Maybe I'll do a little audio recording, and then we'll kind of lead into the show that way. So
that's perfect.
It kind of fades up from a conversation ending.
Are you going to have an intro like Buffy? You could say for every generation there's a podcast.
Well, I was just about to bring that up because obviously we're going to talk about the episode 3, The Witch. It's got two intros.
That's right.
It's got 2 intros, yeah.
Oh really? I didn't notice that. Wow.
Yeah, it's got in a next generation. There's always the Slayer, and I always thought, as I remember back in the 90s, I thought that was one big title sequence.
Yeah.
But it was actually 2.
Yeah,
I've never really seen that before,
I think they only did that for, I think it's only the first season, but I could be mistaken. But they do that. They split up. They have their, I cannot remember what it's called, the cold open. After that, they have the opening after that intro, and then they do the theme music somewhere after that. So I have no idea how that would have played out when it actually aired, like whether they put a commercial in between or what.
Right. Yeah.
So you've been watching on DVD, is that right?
Yeah, DVDs. Yeah.
So I've been watching on Amazon. Thankfully, it's all on Amazon. I'm wondering whether it is for home release, those 2 title sequences. So maybe it's something.
Could be.
Maybe it's something. So we'll have to keep an eye out whether that disappears or not.
Yeah. That's.
I've been watching the first few seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I've seen how the show's progressed in terms of production value, and it's gone up and up. So it's going to be interesting to see how the format changes and how characters mature, because we're really seeing them at a raw stage now. And like we said last week about the first 2 episodes of season 1, they're so well formed, and that's why I think it's effectively 2 monsters of the week episodes: The Witch and Teacher's Pet.
Yes.
And I love Teacher's Pet, and we have a random chat. We have a random chat again, thankfully.
Yeah.
The guy called Blade, but we'll touch upon that a little bit later. So, what did you guys think of The Witch?
I quite liked The Witch. I love that. It's quite simple. There's not a lot happening throughout the whole episode. There's a actually some pretty impressive computer graphics for its time at the end of the episode in the climax. But it's almost all story. It's almost like very little happens, but it's still pretty compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they introduced Amy that early on. I'd forgotten that she was in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
So another character that comes back throughout the whole series.
Yeah. I was impressed. I love that episode. It just reminds me how hokey it is, like just catching on fire. It's just not seamless, but it's part of the charm. And the eyes at the end, that always in the glass.
The statue,
yeah.
Well, obviously, the end of that episode and the end of A Teacher's Pet, they're very similar. They've got a kind of outer limits kind of ending to it.
Right.
You know, like the end of the second one, it's the egg being hatched.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you never see this again.
Yeah, you never. I asked David, did they ever come back? No.
Exactly. Yeah. So I quite like the old switcheroo in The Witch, and
me
it's
too.
an interesting premise. I was thinking that it straight away when you see the kind of the cauldron and the dolls and all of that, I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. But then there's this kind of weird disconnect between the kind of mysticism of The Witch and Barbie dolls that are hanging up. But that's the whole point, that's the whole point. So I leave my kind of disbelief straight away at the door. So
absolutely.
I think really enjoyed. Sorry, go on.
I think that might be the first. I mean, it's only the 3rd episode, but that's, for my knowledge, one of the only episodes where somebody random doesn't die to lead in the episode.
I
don't think anyone dies in that episode.
The mother?
No, she just gets put into the statue.
Oh, right. She's alive inside the eyes. Right. Yeah.
Really? Does anyone else die in this episode?
I don't think so. Because they
really
make a good point that the spell that she casts on Buffy will eventually end up in Buffy's death. So they make a big deal that they haven't killed anyone.
You mean the Bloodstone Vengeance spell?
That's right.
Oh, good for you.
Very
wow,
nice.
I want a t-shirt for that.
I know. The reason I bring that up and I've written it in big letters is because obviously we've got these little things we're spotting, like random chat, and I'm sure there's going to be a really fancy, funny spell names going forward.
Yes.
I kind of can't wait for that. And I was like, when Giles says that Bloodstone Vengeance spell, it's so serious. Anthony Head does such a great job of.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, and he's such a great musician too, and singer. Wow, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's fantastic. When you get to later episodes, you'll hear it. He's just gifted. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So so we started, and the whole premise of this episode is a witch that wants to get into the cheerleading squad.
Which gives me a big question, which is, was she practicing witchcraft from a young age and as a cheerleader, or did she take it up just so she could replace her body with her daughter so that she could go and cheerlead again?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, it would have been nice to see some dusty pom-poms in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. Like, why do that after so many years?
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like that, that maybe, and, they talk about how she was training her daughter, Amy, for her whole life. Willow talks about her doing that when they were young. So you wonder if she had that planned on sort of a long-term scale to eventually take over.
That's like the end game, isn't it? Right, cheerleading.
That's right, exactly. It's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fun.
That's a really good point. I love that.
And you guys, on a more, I guess, less funny note, I found it interesting, and it just dawned on me. I guess I'm always about the writing theme stuff, but the parallels between Buffy's mom and Buffy, the interactions with the lunch and all that, and then the bad example of the witch, the mother-daughter.
Absolutely.
Switch that too. Like, the writing switches. Is Buffy's mom initially not really listening to her? Is there really, she's not trying to be a good mother, but then she does at the end. Like it seems that she comes back. So I love the mother-daughter theme. And it's not in your face, but it's
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, it's not really on the nose, is it?
No.
And so, what's that song Buffy's singing when she comes into the kitchen? It's something.
Oh, Macho Man by the Village People.
It was so random. So random. I loved it. Like, I loved how she was stealing the food off her mother while she was making 2 glasses of orange juice. I'm like, did I just see that twice?
The counter. When she takes the second glass, it's still this puddle that they don't acknowledge.
And I thought she was going to steal a toast because she was jamming up the toast, you know. So I thought
that's really funny.
I love the kind of oh my god. It reminds me of a very obscure scene in Roadhouse. When they see the cheerleaders at the beginning, and there's this mega cheerleader that obviously something's kind of grim's going to happen, the smoke happens and all of that. Is that she wasn't great. She wasn't that great. She could stretch and do the splits.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, the close-ups of the actual actress doing it, or the character, she's not that great. What are they all talking about? So, and I love the very 90s music in that scene.
Yeah.
Standards are very low in Sunnydale for cheerleaders.
The police standards are very low as well, especially in episode 4. There's a little thing about the police in that.
I thought Cordelia, I don't know if that was really Cordelia, but she did some kind of fancy things before she got shoved that I thought was impressive. I think she's a dancer or something, but
she was good, yeah.
And actually, that's one of the only ones I think that I think Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy, is doing the choreography as well, because usually there are very obvious cuts to her
with the wigs.
Yeah. And I don't think that was. I think that was all her, which is unusual. Usually she uses a stunt double, but it was neat to see.
Maybe they ask more of her in the early seasons, but when she gets some power, they've got a stunt double. You know, maybe
they just can't afford it in the early ones.
Exactly, yeah. And did you notice what the daughter was called? The older witch, but the younger girl. Wasn't it Sabrina?
That's right.
Sabrina the teenage witch.
Yeah, that's right.
So I love that. So, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
The only reason I noticed it because she was wearing I don't think it's got any kind of significant theme to it, but she was wearing a shirt with kind of these roses on, and that's when it gets mentioned in that kind of walk and talk scene.
Interesting.
And one of the things I've noticed, because obviously the cauldron's upstairs in the top of the house. And, I wonder what that place smelled like.
We were joking how obvious it is that it's an evil house.
It's like the witch and her daughter, who were after cheerleading, couldn't live in the most, in a nice place. It's the most evil. It's got gargoyles on the outside. There's devils on the gates to the house.
Yeah, it's like something from Fright Night.
I love that movie.
That's my favorite 80s horror film.
Oh, it's a great movie. And the music, man, I should watch that again.
And we'll do a watch along or something for it. And it was all bricked up in that window. Right.
Yeah.
I don't need any more light. I just need to make it as dark as possible.
Yeah, that's really
cool. I kind of loved everything hanging. And obviously, there's so many kind of odd things about Sunnydale, as you mentioned. And one of them, and I was thinking about the driver's ed thing because is it called Cordelia, isn't it? She was kind of, the spell was put on her, and we didn't quite know what the spell was until slightly later, which was a nice kind of shot of her eyes when she was kind of blinded.
Yeah.
But did you notice when I was going to say Sabrina then, when Buffy saves it on the road, the driver of the van doesn't stop.
I did not notice that.
He doesn't stop. There's no skid after the fact. He just like, I'm in my UPS van. I'm going to keep driving.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. I didn't notice that.
It's all part of living on a hellmouth.
I know. It just reminded me of Erie, Indiana, saying there's these creepy things going on,
Yeah.
I wonder if they consciously thought of that and didn't worry about it, because it kind of creates an atmosphere that these things are taken for granted in Sunnydale. That there's just, it may seem not mystical, but maybe there are, you know, more accidents or murders or, you know, going to the point of the cops not being very good. That's
something that we all kind of highlighted last week or the last episode, was that the cops have got to be in on it. They've got to somehow have an understanding of what's going on in the town, because they're nowhere to be seen, which is quite refreshing in a show for the cops just never to appear. Or when we talk about episode 4, they do appear and then they just appear for 5 seconds.
They don't. Yeah. They don't.
So yeah, it's been this particular episode I absolutely loved. Oh my god, it has one of the filthiest lines in the episode. It is when Buffy goes to start doing the cheerleading, and obviously she's got this kind of boundless energy to her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Xander says, "Is it me or is Buffy a bit lubed?"
Oh.
I still.
It is lubed, right? That is what he says.
I thought he said looped, and I wasn't sure, but it is definitely lubed, because I think they're implying that she's drunk.
Yes.
But that
lubricate as in intoxicate, right?
but that
meaning, went,
yeah, that meaning completely changed. Nobody uses that word anymore. At least I could think of.
So it was a 90s drunk thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now it's a completely different, seedier, darker thing. Well, not darker, but it's just different.
And it's funny because after they drag her out of the gym with some really terrible excuses, it gives her Buffy kind of an opportunity to show that she's acting drunk, but they don't really show that ahead of there. They just show her having energy.
Right.
Yeah,
right?
That's a very good point.
It's very strange.
Yeah, that is strange. I didn't notice that. I thought she acted drunk pretty well when she was acting, in it.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed. I really like the idea that we've kind of spotted something, or David spotted something that's completely different meaning now.
Yeah.
Because here, he's completely toxic. He's completely leathered. That's the same thing. There's so many different versions of that.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. And what did I put? Mythical sayings or spells. The names of these spells, I really hope it's a continuing thing.
I think there is. I think there's quite a lot.
I think we should keep a list or try.
I'll make sure I keep everything in my notebook, and then we'll come up with something.
Yeah, I shouldn't say should. If we want to,
we can really say Slayer Talk spell book.
Or can you imagine? Can you imagine a T-shirt like with Buffy and then on the back all the spell names through the whole.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get ahead.
Bloodstone vengeance spell. I think it was so serious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't let this go. When I wrote that down, I think it was around the same scene where they go to the house. They finally realise there's a body swap going on, and it's the way he barges into the house. It's just so intrusive,
Yeah.
They don't quite understand who the woman is straight away, but it's like he says something like, "Get out of my way. Be quiet, you stupid woman," or something like that. He says. He's so full tilt, isn't he?
Yeah. I love that it's the brownies that the woman is eating.
Oh,
the
yeah.
mother is eating. Who she hides them by putting them on the floor.
Yeah,
I don't even. But there's no reason for her to hide the brownies at all.
Yeah.
So I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I forgot that.
So I think that I think it was a really good kind of. Would you class it as a Monster of the Week episode?
It is, but he always does such a good job of continuing things forward and not forgetting
peppering things in. Yeah.
And it's a small thing, but her mother in the climax in the fight, her eyes turn black, which they use throughout the rest of the series whenever there's a powerful witch.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And
It's a great shot. It's a great
and
shot.
it's wonderful. And again, I forgot that they
Like
did
Willow
that early, and they
Willow.
had the foresight to keep reusing it
Yeah,
as,
right.
as a consistency, which is just, it makes the whole thing a more cohesive world.
It matters. Details,
Yeah.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And good old Mirror. That's what I'd put. Good old Mirror.
Good old Mirror.
In terms of wiping her out. And I kind of missed what was said in front of the trophy cabinet. Do you remember what was said? There's something about. There was something about a particular character or something in that. So was it the mother? Was the mother in the trophy at the end?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
And I remember. I mean, I don't remember as well as David and you, but Buffy was trying to console. What's her name again?
Amy.
Amy.
Who was reestablishing her relationship with her dad.
Yes. And they both had divorced parents. And Dave commented about this is the first time we hear, or it's confirmed, that Buffy's dad is from a divorce. And we don't ever, I don't think we ever see that.
Yeah, the first two episodes, they don't, he's just not there, and they make reference that Joyce is his mom, but that's the first time that Buffy says that her dad is not in the picture.
Yeah, and then Buffy tries to basically tell Amy to lighten up and not try to be the mother. And actually, that's the parallel mother thing back again, where it's like, you don't have to be like your mother. You can have a good relationship, but you don't have to get that, be the same person. And it's a good message, I think, for teenagers.
I think we've got a really good balance for this show, because I'm coming into it relatively fresh. I've pretty much seen everything. And Smudge, you haven't seen the last season, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh no, sorry, I haven't seen the last episode. I've seen everything except the last episode.
We're gonna keep mentioning that every episode we do.
And you guys, honestly, I've been saving that. It sounds like well, speaking of the next one we saw, which is the virgin theme, but I feel like a virgin in terms of Buffy. That's all.
David knows all the character names, which is fantastic. Smudge is looking at the themes, which is brilliant. And then I'm looking at the random, talking about firsts. Is this the first episode? Obviously, it's only the third in the first season. This is the first time we hear Xander's full real name.
Yes, Levant. What was it?
In the fourth,
wasn't it Alexander Harris?
They say Alexander Harris in the second episode, or the third episode, yes. But they actually say his middle name
in the fourth episode. Levant, or what is it?
I didn't pick up on that at all.
Oh, no.
It's the one that he says it to the teacher.
And he says, "Don't try and forget this," or something.
Yeah.